there, Kim Levinson here with another version of How to Live Your Best Life. And right now it's going to be during the coronavirus, during COVID-19, unfortunately. And I do apologize, it's taken me a little while to get on this. I was lucky enough to have a few people ask me to step up and speak up on some positivity in a time when we all need it. And I'll be honest with you, I wasn't really feeling it, and I was having a lot of difficulty mustering that up. And if you aren't feeling positive authentically, it shows. And I think I wouldn't have been very helpful to you had I started telling you advice and things that I wasn't actually feeling. So I did struggle with it, and I did have some difficulty. And it's okay. At the time, I was very frustrated with myself and felt, I know better than this, and why can't I get out of this? And why am I struggling so much? And it's not affecting my family specifically. Nobody's sick, we're healthy, I know better. I should be grateful for what we do have and not be looking at the losses that I was feeling. And I can justify all I want about how work for real estate slowed down, my teaching halted completely. I was dealing with a sick dog who had surgery and wound up coming out with lymphoma and started chemo and wound up going blind. So in the past 6 weeks or so, I'd say we've had some changes. A lot of other people have had more difficulties that are either life-threatening or they've had loss of lives in their families, and my heart goes out to them. And so I really feel for all of you struggling and the fear that you might be going through in this situation. I wound up having to forgive myself for not handling the situation as best I wanted. I laid with my dog. I didn't get up and set the world on fire and do a million videos and start writing my book I wanted to write, journal, and support everyone that I could as I knew how to do. And I was upset about it and beat myself up. I realize now that I was doing the best that I can, and that's all that we can never do. Somebody who spoke about that was Brene Brown, and she had a concept of what if everyone really is doing the very best that they can? And I really like that concept. And now I could say it to 30 different people. Probably more than half would say, no, people are not doing the very best that they can. This was even before this whole pandemic. But I do feel like people really are. There are days where I wish I did better and I felt like, geez, that wasn't my very best today. But on a whole, I think that people really are doing the very best we can. And we can drive by and take our frustrations out on others. We can drive by and look and see people and say, they're not social distancing. We can be in a store and say, they're not standing behind the line. Why aren't they wearing a mask? They're risking their lives. They're risking my life. We don't know everybody's story, and we don't know what they're going through, and we don't know if that might be the very best that they can be doing. So we've got to be less critical of others and maybe look inwards and say, how can we change how we're feeling about the situation and what we're doing about it? And that's what I tried to do. So I'm not here to lecture, just trying to share a little bit of what I had to look inward and journal inward a little bit. Do more of what makes you happy. This guy makes me happy. But I do have lots of ideas and things that I've learned from my travels all over the world and here, and I jotted down a few things that I wanted to share with you during this very difficult time. Basically, the first one I touched on a little bit was Brene Brown, maybe cutting people some slack. And we're so busy placing blame this day and age with politics and with whose fault everything is. This person's right because they like my political views. That person's wrong because they have different ones. Oh, I don't like that person because they must be to blame for this whole pandemic. We've got to take a step back and kind of calm it down a little bit and try and see things a little bit more through love than through hate, because that's the only way we're going to come together. And I really do believe that. So I do like Brene Brown's maybe taking a step back. One of my favorite stories was somebody who was on a train and his children were very obstreperous and acting out and behaving badly, and everyone on the train was looking at him, this was way before this, wondering why he couldn't control his children, why he was allowing them to be so disrespectful, why he couldn't get a handle on it, and how it was affecting them, and it really bothered them. And I try to look back at this story when I'm feeling a way that doesn't resonate with me and that I don't like how I'm feeling and think about it. And at the end of the day, the train stopped and the doors opened and the kids ran off, and the man stood up with a glazed look and he looked around him and he said, I'm sorry, they just lost their mother today and I don't know what to do. And so I think that sometimes when we know better, we do better. When we understand what someone's going through, we can relate to them. But when we don't know, we just assume, and we can throw all these shadows and our own beliefs or fears on them. And maybe we need to just take a step back during a very difficult time like this and protect ourselves, but maybe know that it might not be an actual physical attack on us. It might just be someone doing the very best that they can that day. So that's my thought on that, and I'm gonna step back, give you a few minutes to think about that, and we'll be with you shortly with some new ideas and new concepts that hopefully will help you have some maybe coping mechanisms and techniques that will help get us all through all this difficult time. So I appreciate your joining me, and I hope that that was a little bit helpful, and look forward to hearing from you. If you would like to reach out at kmbrn242@gmail.com. I'd love to hear emails from any of you at any point. Thank you so much. Take care. Be well.